him and his whole family and Charlie Evelyn and all his family, they all came in the Regus restaurant, and he had just graduated that day. He had never closed Regus restaurant. That was a good place. Did you ever go to Brady's? When it was down west, Knoxville, where?
I did. I didn't go there very often, but I've been there.
That was one of them. They had the best prime rib. I've never tasted prime rib again. Like the way they fixed it. And that was one of the great brothers. I think that was the beginning of their downfall. They branched out and was going to sell franchises. Yeah.
She's excellent. She's a real attention to detail. So we're excited. We just wait this time. She's not here today, but her son.
Is that the train? I'm gonna wear my train socks today if I don't. They brought me a pair of those. That's got big old pink and orange and gold and white polka dots all on the socks. And it says train on them.
She's in Nashville. Just hanging out with Trisha.
Andy?
Huh?
She's gonna be assistant. This is an electronic version of the report that we can share with you. And you flip this,
He said, I'll go
put that up and stick on a computer.
I can't, because mine just went dead.
You?
Hey, Mitch, I don't
In
know.
shape there.
I don't know
If steps.
I don't know whether you ever seen one of these or not, but I was going through some of Susan's old paperwork the other night, and I found that, and I thought, I'm gonna take that to Mitch. He might like it.
No.
When you were,
93.
I said, you look a little different then.
I had a little bit of hair back then, 27 years ago.
I said, I didn't know whether you kept one of those or not.
Yeah, I had old blonde, brownish blonde mustache. I used to be good looking.
I didn't recognize her. She is in state phase 3.
It's funny how that stuff happens.
Yeah.
She took that.
27 years ago. That's how old my son is. Well, he's born 94, so that's the year before Charlie was born.
He's tell us all at school before we said.
I found 4 or 5 of people that live in my neighborhood.
93. Harry, oh, Harry's, Frazier, oh, there's Freddie. Who's mine? Is it son? Harry Frazier.
Yeah. You can have that if you want it. I just found it and I thought, well, yeah, just take it with you. I've got, like I say, I found several. I was gonna give them to the people in the neighborhood that might or might not have kept one from way back then. Might want it as a souvenir or something.
I've been a freshman in high school.
Yeah. Presentation choice.
Is Dutton that lives over there on my corner in Sharp Estates.
Greg.
There. Huh?
Greg.
Yeah,
Dutton.
Greg. Well, now who was Randy Dutton?
Randy Dutton.
I found one that was a Randy Dutton. And, I couldn't place who that one was. Found James Ray Miller's. I was gonna give that to Don.
James Ray.
I'd like to welcome everyone to September 10th, 2020, Lenoir City Board of Education meeting. Roll call.
Rick Chadwick,
Here.
Matthew Coleman.
Here.
Lynn McNish.
Here.
Mitch Ledbetter.
Here.
Everyone please stand for a moment of silence. Pledge allegiance. Thank you very much. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, item number 6, approval of agenda.
Any motion we approve the agenda?
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call.
Rick Chadwick,
Aye.
Matthew Coleman.
Aye.
Lynn McNish.
Aye.
Mitch Ledbetter.
Item number 7, approval of minutes from the August 13th, 2020 regular board meeting.
Motion we approve the minutes is read.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call.
Rick Chadwick,
Aye.
Matthew Coleman.
Aye.
Lynn McNish.
Aye.
Mitch Ledbetter.
Aye.
Item number 8, train annual review.
Yes, Board, I would like to recognize Miss Nancy McBee, who is here with us today. You remember Nancy from our work with the train company. And so they're here today to share with us the annual report that will show the progress that we've made in our energy and efficiency improvements and our partnership with train. So Nancy, I'll turn it over to you.
Well, and I'm gonna need Chuck Burnett to come up, because he's gonna be the person that's gonna go through the details of how the performance has gone. We put together a little summary just for a refresher. I know everyone wasn't here when we started down the road of doing this project. This is everything that was part of the project. It's a whole lot of LED lighting, heating and air conditioning replacements, plumbing upgrades, a whole lot of stuff to include to upgrade the energy efficiency in the school system. This is how the project broke down. 31% of it was lighting, HVAC. You'll see the breakdown of what the mix was. When we started this project, the school system was operating at about $2 a square foot. What we've done with this project is bring you all down to $1.23 a square foot, which that's $319,000 a year in utility savings, which is very nice. A few pictures, and I think we've showed you these before, but there's before and after. High school in a classroom, old lighting at middle school in the gym versus the new, old lighting at the high school in the gym, old boilers, new boilers, old rooftop air conditioning units and new ones, old cooling system and new cooling system, old control system and new control system. Summary of the project, we did $4.8 million in upgrades with $319,000 a year in utility savings. It required no tax increase by the city because it was funded through the utility savings. We were successful in getting a loan with the Tennessee Energy Efficient Schools Initiative at 1.5% to pay for this. Any savings that we achieve over that $319 just come back to the school system. If we don't meet the $319, we have to write a check for the difference. Zero risk to the school system, a great project. And now I'm gonna turn this over to Chuck, and I'll click for you, but we are, what, a year and a half post-construction?
Yeah, so we recently did a year one reconciliation report. So part of the project was that end of every year, we go through a process where we total up all the utility bills for electric and natural gas, propane, wherever it's applicable. And this is all in accordance with the International Measurement Verification Protocol. So there are rules mandated by the federal governments that dictate how this whole process works. And it goes through a lengthy review, goes to the energy efficiency people. So part of that report, and I'll go as deep as you guys want or as brief as you guys want.
Well, and also, there's a copy of the full report on the little flash drive that we provide to all the school board members. If you want to get into the weeds in any of this, there's a lot to look at.
Yeah, so every year for the next 15 years, that reconciliation process has to stand alone. So we're technically start at 0 in year 2, and we accumulate savings or lack thereof. And this is the report that probably means a lot to the board here. So during the construction phase, which is measured a little bit differently because there's some timing issues, you know, we may not be able to get the lighting schedule in, the chiller replacement in, so it's a little bit different in the construction period. But once we go into the year 1 guarantee period, the utility clocks start ticking, we start accumulating savings or deficits. This is a great news story here. The important box here is we actually saved $401,823 for the year 1 period, which means we had an excess savings of $96,994, which of course goes back to you guys. I'd like to thank Mike Sims and his whole team that couldn't do it without him. The partnership there has a lot to do, in my experiences, with the difficulties or the ease you meet the savings numbers, and this one was fairly easy. So it's just a typical energy breakdown from kilowatt hours, kilowatts, therms, water, puts dollar values on that. Now, as you can see there, we did have a deficit in natural gas. Part of what we do for you guys is we drill down on that and try to find out what caused that miss. This particular one, we chased to the middle school, and we've got some legwork to do to try to figure out the necessary adjustments that's going to correct that. Luckily, it didn't have a big impact on there, but it is something we're working at.
Next slide.
Yep, next slide. So this is the one that means a lot to you guys. It's the high-level overall view. So now we get into the total utility dollars, breaking it down by month. This will give you the baseline. That's where you would be if we hadn't have done this project. The target is where we actually projected you will be based on the energy conserving measures that we executed in the schools, and the actual is where our bills actually came in at. So that transmits for the 12 months, and the totals are over here, and that's where we get the savings.
How did that affect with being out since March, April? I mean, actually the savings should have been higher. I mean, would they not have that students would have been in school? Or is it basically a wash?
Well, that's a great question. So that's a difficult question to answer, but whenever you don't have load in a school, meaning we don't have the kids and the normal activities that we do have, it does have an impact. But because we ran the systems to keep that air turnover and a safety factor there, it probably had minimal impact. We would have maybe done a baseline adjustment, which is the routine process that we go through to handle those kind of things. But since it was all in your favor, we didn't go through that because it would have taken.
Well, let me say, I asked that same question when we were sitting, when they first presented this information. And another piece of this is that our measurement year is from March to February. So it ended February the 20th, which was
Okay.
right as we left. So indeed, we did have students. It was a
Up until the
full
20th,
academic year, because I had that same thought.
So we should see something this coming year.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We
it could
should
be,
see
yeah.
something.
You're welcome.
KW demand, same chart, same 12 months period breakdown. We We actually guaranteed 29.26 in kilowatt savings, and we actually delivered 67.61. Huge numbers. That's a great indication of the systems are working as we designed and intended. Kilowatt hours, so this is consumption. The other one was demand. That means how much energy is required to run the school. This is consumption. This is the meter spinning and the clock ticking on pieces of equipment that are running. And again, we were in excess of the guarantees that we had in place. Actually saved 3.3 million kilowatt hours in the course of this reconciliation period. And then the last one is therms. This is the one where we were behind a little bit. We actually guaranteed 30,000 therms and saved 26,000 therms. You can see here the months that we missed. The green is higher than the red. So we know this is a heating related issue. We know which school this was goes back to. So that's the investigative process that we're working through with the maintenance staff and team and our energy engineers to try to pin this down and make the necessary corrections so this gap falls into the target area.
These are little engineers.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
My
Future.
daughter's in that picture, and now she's just started college, so, hey, Mitch, maybe LCUD needs to give the school system a plaque or something. I'm just saying.
No, you took my raise away from you. We didn't get a raise this year.
Does anybody have any questions?
What, as far as water usage, y'all doing calculation? I know we had 2 or 3 massive leaks at the high school that, because there's gonna be a huge savings, especially if they don't chiller out, you know, but.
Yeah, absolutely. So the water side of the energy savings is all calculated.
Okay.
It's what we call option A or stipulated, meaning all the ECMs that we implemented at the schools were calculated based on students, flushes per day, gallons per usage, kitchen, the actual meter readings. So we know that if we change the toilet from a 1.6 to a 1.3 times 100 flushes a day, it's going to say this. The only reason why we can't put a guarantee on that is we don't know that there's only going to be 100 flushes. There may be 200. So we watch the meters, but when we calculate the savings, the measured amounts that we take at the end of the project carries through for the remainder.
I know, like I said, we had, 2 big leaks at high school during that period, and, I mean, we went through about 1 million gallons of water.
Yeah, getting rid of the cool entire stage, you probably
Oh, God.
2 or 3 million.
Well, and not only that, but sewer costs, I mean, sewer costs for, extremely high, so.
Yeah,
You
of
get rid
course,
of the
you know,
water,
we
you get rid
planned
of,
on
you know,
drilling a well there. We drilled
150%.
2 deep wells and didn't get
I
water.
can't believe it. I
All the
cannot
water
believe
over
that.
there. And
That
we
place
didn't
is
get it.
built on a spring.
It's built on a dry stream.
And one other slide that I could have added is the impact on the environment. With this much of a reduction in your utilities, you've done a lot for the environment here in Loudoun County, Motor City.
And it is in
Next
the
time I'll
report.
put that in.
It is in the full report that we reviewed and shared.
And it's on here.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Lot.
Thank you, Mike, for you and your maintenance guys and
Those
all
guys,
the
they're the ones that-
assistants.
Okay, item number 9, your motion with pay or bill.
So moved. Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call.
Rick Chadwick,
Aye.
Matthew Coleman.
Aye.
Lynn McNish.
Aye.
Mitch Ledbetter.
Aye.
All right, we'll go on to new business. Item number 12, discussion of payroll tax deferral option. Ms. Jeannie?
Well, and this is really just, information for you, doesn't really require, decide, you would like to take an action. I'm sure that you all have heard about the payroll tax deferral that has been implemented by executive order. Um, Participation in that program is voluntary, and we are opting to not participate. There are several reasons why. One is it's not really a forgiveness of those taxes. It's only a deferral of the time period when you would pay the taxes. So if we did not deduct the taxes now, after Christmas, beginning in January, we would essentially have to double deduct from everyone's check to get those taxes. We're required to pay those taxes by the end of April 30th. And if we don't have those deducted and paid by that time, then we would face stiff penalties from the IRS and interest on those taxes. Adding to that particular scenario is if you have an employee who leaves in the meantime, and we always do experience some of that. You have folks who are doing interim teaching positions who won't be with us after the 1st of January. You have subs who might sub periodically in the fall, but then in the spring or the summer or the late winter and spring, they don't sub. So we would still be responsible for paying those taxes, even though we might not have a means of recovering those taxes. So therefore, the other issue would be record keeping up with all the records that would be needed to, in order to implement this and implementing it in our software. So all those reasons together made it not very feasible for us to participate in this. You'll see in your documentation, we also talked to our auditors about this, and they also feel that it could be a significant burden in time and money to keep up with this. One question we did want to answer was if ultimately the government does come back and forgives these taxes, it would require congressional action to do that. But if they do come back and ultimately forgive these taxes, then the employees will have an option to recoup that money off of their income tax payments. So I mean, they're not going to lose out by us not if it ultimately becomes forgiven. That's it. Any questions about that?
Pay me now or pay me later. I mean, it's
Yeah.
the government, I mean.
You never get out of taxes, do you?
Yeah.
We had the same conversations at our office, and it just doesn't make sense to do it.
No.
Yeah.
Well, that was our conclusion, so we wanted to share that with you, see if you had any other thoughts.
Thank you, Jean. All right, item number 13, approval of the North City schools strategic, I can't really get that out, plan for 2019 and 2023.
Yes, Board, as I talked to you in our workshop, this is something that we had yet to take formal action on, is the approval of our strategic plan for 5 years. And so you see there for 2019 to 2023, and I have updated our strategic plan document to indicate things that we have accomplished off the strategic plan from last year, and then added in there those things that we approved as part of our budget process and retreat work this past May. And so I just submit this for your approval officially.
And hopefully we'll have lots of money and we can do lots of things.
Where are you gonna get it?
Well, one of the things that I enjoy about the 5-year process, looking at our strategic plan, is we can celebrate those things that we did accomplish.
Oh, yeah.
And there's an awful lot of green
Yeah, there is.
on there. So I just appreciate you all as board members and the diligence that it takes to keep us focused and to keep our financial health so that we can continue to do partnerships like we have done with Train, and keep looking for ways to enhance the opportunities for our students and teachers. So I appreciate that. Thank you.
A motion to approve?
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any more discussion? Roll call.
Rick Chadwick.
Aye.
Matthew Coleman.
Aye.
Glenn McNish.
Aye.
Mitch Ledbetter.
Item 14, appoint a board member to the 2021-22 school calendar committee. Mr.
Everybody-
Ledbetter, you've got
And
all.
everybody
the
turns around and looks at me.
You're the man.
I be the man. Can I say no?
No.
Got a motion. Got a motion and a second. Roll call.
Rick Chadwick.
Aye.
Matthew Coleman.
Aye.
Glenn McNish.
Aye.
Mitch Ledbetter.
Yeehaw.
Okay, item number 15, approval of the following LCBOE policy revisions. We'll just go through all these, and if anybody's got any discussion on them, y'all, you guys done these during the workshop, so, and I wasn't here, so. All right, item number A, 4.802, student equal access limited public forum. Item B, 5.502, complaints about school personnel. C, 6.409, child abuse and neglect. Anybody got any concerns or?
That's pretty good, doesn't matter.
No, I've just got a bunch of concerns. Like the state of Tennessee really cares.
Yeah. Well, I read about them. I knew your concerns. So do I hear a motion, we pass these?
So
Go ahead,
moved.
Glenn.
So moved.
Okay.
Might as well.
Don't have a choice. Law says we have to. Second.
I've got a motion and a second. Any more discussion? Roll call.
Rick Chadwick.
Aye.
Matthew Coleman.
Aye.
Glenn McNish.
Aye.
Mitch Ledbetter.
Item 16, approval to adopt policy 6.3041, Title IX, sexual harassment.
And board, as noted in our workshop, we did consult our legal advisor and got an answer to Mr. Coleman's question there, that indeed.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Tough.
So, you know, it's always good to hear that we're on, you know, where we stand, so I submit that for approval.
Got me again. I'll entertain a motion, we approve. I don't like it, but again, that's the law.
I guess I'll second it.
All right, we got a motion and a second. Any more discussion? Roll call.
Rick Chadwick.
Aye.
Matthew Coleman.
Aye.
Glenn McNish.
Aye.
Mitch Ledbetter.
Item 17, superintendent comments.
Well, thank you, board, thank you. And I want to say thank you to our principals. Since our last workshop and board meeting, we have been working hard in all kinds of different scenarios, following all kinds of health guidelines and making school decisions that are appropriate according to situations that are, you know, ahead of us. I will say this, that the state of Tennessee has now, in its wisdom, decided that we should have a dashboard that will communicate widely to the public, you know, any situations that we may have in schools regarding COVID. And so at this time, the measures that we've taken seem to be working well, and we are in a healthy situation in our school system. And so I credit all of our building level administrators, assistant principals, our custodians and maintenance staff for supporting wellness and all the procedures and processes that we're engulfed in right now. So thank you all. We have hired a new HR specialist. That will be Ms. Karen Burnett. Karen has currently been in the position of administrative assistant to Ms. Smith, Dr. Smallin, and Mr. Collins. And so she's going to be gradually moving over into the business department. Karen has a degree in human resource management, and she has not been able to use that in her current assignment. So we are moving her into the position, and she can use her degree. And she is excellent. We're excited to make that transition. And so then we have already advertised for the administrative assistant to replace her. We'll be looking toward that. Also want to say thank you to Miss Vicki Bivens. She's not here right now because this is a busy time for her with food service. As you may have seen, and as I have shared with you, the USDA has come out and deemed all students can eat free breakfast and free lunch throughout the end of this calendar year through December the 30th, 2020. And so we are not charging any student to eat lunch. And for those students who are not with us, either if they're in a quarantine situation, a hybrid situation, or a virtual online student, then we have an opportunity for them to pick up meals on Wednesdays. And they can pick up enough meals to cover the entire week. So if it's a virtual student, they'll get 7 breakfasts and 7 meals free of charge. If it is a hybrid student, they'll get 5 breakfasts, 5 lunches, because it carries through the weekend. So that is a program. I was kidding with Vicki when we were talking about this. I said, so this goes through December 30th. Does that mean you're serving Christmas dinner? She said, if she could, she would. So that's her heart. She said, I just want to feed students. So I just appreciate all that their food service department is doing. So that is something new that we are participating in. Also, I want to thank the Loudoun County Education Foundation. Family Resource Center received a $2,000 donation from the Education Foundation through their Banking on Education fundraiser that they had. And so that's always a blessing to have support from our community organizations as well. Also, Board, I have given you a copy of the numbers, our school enrollment numbers as of September the 1st. And you can see there we're growing again. That has been a trend for the last 3 years. We've continued to grow. And you can see that in many of our areas, we are at capacity. And so we continue to have requests for students to enroll. And we look toward our board policy there for whether or not we allow students to enroll, and it is based on capacity. So we do have a waiting list of some in some grade levels, and there are some grade levels that we just say we're full. We cannot accept you right now unless you live in our district. And so that I want you to be aware of where we stand with those numbers. And we are already looking toward second semester to see what kind of needs we may have. We are looking to open the requests for virtual learning for second semester beginning October the 19th through November the 13th, so that we can have a window there to plan and prepare for staffing for the second semester. So more information about that as we get to that point, but I want you to know that's coming. Y'all have any questions about the enrollment or where we are with planning for second semester? Okay. And then also, I want to recognize Dr. Smallin. He wants to share with you, Board, something that is just rolled out in our efforts to communicate with parents and families. as part of our new website, we have an app, a newly released app that's come out. So Chris, would you share that with us?
Sure, so, and this just hot off the press, so about 35, 40 minutes ago, I got this notification. So remember that on July 1st, we launched a new website, and as part of that project, an app for the district was put into that project. So if you want to, if you got a smartphone or an iPad or an Android tablet, then you can either go to the Google Play Store on an Android device, or you can go to the iOS store. And if you want to search for Lenoir City School District, then that's what you get on what's on the TV right here. And this will enable our parents and student body to connect to our social media platforms, hit the cafeteria menus, any announcements, the news feeds for the different schools of the district, as well as the district news feed. All of that information will now be included in the app. So, and that feeds directly from the website. So whatever we put on the website will be available coming up into the app. Any questions about that? I'll be around after the meeting, so if you need help with that, I'll be happy to
Got it.
help you walk through the process.
Thank you, thank you. Again, that was part of our process to try to improve communication with all of our stakeholders. So thank you. And I believe that's all of the comments I have today.
All right, thank you. Matthew, you got anything?
Probably so.
Lee? Pete? Your motion, we adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion and a second, we adjourn. Roll call.
Rick Chadwick.
Aye.
Matthew Coleman.
Aye.
Glenn McNish.
Aye.
Mitch Ledbetter.
Aye.